and welcome to another episode of Beer Culture Web Show. And for this episode, we're going to be doing a sponsored homebrew. It's our little dive into brewing and getting our feet wet, learn a little bit more about brewing. I was a home brewer for a while, but for this venture, we've brought on board Ralph Sargent, a award-winning home brewer. Sarge, what's going on?
Just chilling it, just looking for a beer, eating, drinking, and all.
Very good, very good. And I think one of the ideas me and Justin came up with was to brew a split IPA or pale ale, depending on where we land, right? And we're going to use a couple different yeasts and see what kind of results we get. So it's almost a yeast test, if you will.
It is. That's what it is. Huh?
Yeah, same beer, two different yeasts. And we want to thank More Beer for backing us up on this. I super appreciate that. It was very generous of them to give us the 2 kits so that we can get out here and dig into it.
Yeah.
This is going to be your second brew, right?
Yeah, second, third, something like that.
Okay, you brewed with Schmidman from Schmidty's, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Actually, that's it so far.
I think I drank that in your garage. It was still warm. It was freaking
still
delicious. Dude, it was warm in a keg, and it was really good. Like, the chocolate came across. It was just roasty. It was delicious. He's like, don't fuck with me. If you're serious, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, tell me. I'm like, no, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's like warm in the garage.
Left, too.
Yeah, I'd still drink it warm. It's a great stout. And
Yeah,
now,
well,
wasn't
I
that
don't have
made?
a refrigerator big enough to put a whole
Yeah.
keg in.
Not yet, but
Kinda
you know,
restricted
as this show grows,
warm,
it's
yeah.
going to happen. I think your garage is going to become a little haven at some point. We do. And that beer was brewed from like a sludge from a bottle, right?
Yeah, we were drinking a bottle of Even More Jesus from Even Twin Brew.
Right.
And there was about, a third, maybe a quarter of the bottle was this weird
Pudding
type stuff. So we took and harvested the yeast out of it and made this stuff.
That's what I
So you
love.
only got a half a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got 5 gallons out of
5
it.
gallons,
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what I love about brewing. It's just crazy science. It's just a beer. There's something funky in my beer. Let's brew another beer from it. That's home brewing in its sense. Awesome. Well, let's get started. We got a lot of work to do over the next couple of months to come out with a phenomenal beer. And we'll see you guys on the other side. All right. Beer Culture Web Show. See you in about a month or so.
Welcome to Beer Culture. We're at More Beer in Riverside, and this is Rob. And he's going to give us just a quick little explanation and run through how this brew system works.
This is our 1550 10-gallon TP brew sculpture, completely digital, ready to go. And the way the system works, this is our mash tun, this is our hot liquor tank, this is our boil kettle. The mash system runs off of this temperature controller. Once this drops below a certain mash temperature, the pump down here in the corner will turn on and pump the work from under the false bottom into a coil which is sitting in our hot liquor water. It's going to be about 5 to 10 degrees above our mash temperature. It's going to heat exchange across that coil, go back up through the sparge arm into our mash and maintain our mash temperature. Once our mash is complete, then all we have to do, take the fitting off the front of the mash, put it on our hot liquor tank. Now we're ready to sparge and drain our wort out. We're going to drain our wort out through gravity into our boil kettle. Once we're collected in our boil kettle, we're ready to boil and add hops. And that's our system. Very simple and very effective.
Now, you call this the tippy system.
That's right.
Explain what exactly that means.
The tippy is an option that's built into the system, so it's actually part of the cleaning process. Once you're done with the mash and you've collected all your wort, this tank is filled with very heavy wet grain. So the easy part about cleaning this, pull this pin, and this whole tippy system adjusts. So the catch is right here. You put your garbage can right there to dump all your grain out, and then clean up as it breaks.
Yeah, that's very easy to do. As trying to lift all that spray grain off the top of it.
Especially when you upgrade this to a 20-gallon system. This has 2 pivot points, so when you want to increase the 20-gallon batches, you can get a carriage and a 26-gallon mash tun, and it sits right here as opposed to right here.
Right.
So when you're dealing double the grain for a 20-gallon batch, that's much heavier. So that tippy really comes in handy.
And now you can buy this complete system. I mean, you were explaining earlier there are some different options you can get, with the controllers, without the controllers, with the tippy, without the tippy. But this particular system right here, you got the pumps, the kettles, the frame, the electronics, the temperature controllers, everything.
Everything you see. Sparge arm, lines, pump, all the kettles, stainless steel frame, digital. Out the door, this one goes for about $5,100.
That's not a bad price for everything to get here. But, all right, well, thank you very much, sir, for giving us a run through about how this works. And See you guys soon.
Beer Culture Webshow. I'm here over at More Beer, another site with Dan Stark. We appreciate you having us come out.
No, anytime.
We're here on the wall of kits right now, which is, I remember as a home brewer, this is me, this is how I started. You know, Ralph Sargent and me, he was going to help me figure it all out. It's all kits for me. It's all coming to that preset recipe and, you know, getting the extract kit and going home, trying to make magic in my kitchen. Stovetop. Yeah, I remember, no, not yet, but I remember my sons would all go to their room and hide when I was brewing because the whole house would just get that smell, you know, that aromatic.
You can even ask my wife, that's the smell, she loves that part.
Yeah, they learn to love it, right?
She can't care about IPAs or anything, but as soon as I start getting to the point of making it work, she's ready.
Good opening.
No, same old thing. My wife, she's
How's business up here?
business is great. It is actually, we're in a time of year where all brewers are coming in now. They want to go ahead and either do an extract or olive grain. The weather's been great. It's been warm enough to be outside. Yeah, and it's been out there, which is cool. So we're selling a lot more IPA kits than we typically do on browns or pils. When it gets colder, we'll see a lot of stouts being sold.
That's a crazy point that I never thought of. That the weather changes what you're selling because it changes what we're brewing.
Exactly, it does. When it's colder, you want thicker, you want more alcohol, you need pure ale.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the
We're going to have to keep up on that. Now, I appreciate you backing us up on this build of the first brew for the Beer Culture Web Show. We're going to be doing a 10-gallon IPA with Ralph Sargent up in Coachella Valley. It's going to be, you know, you're going to get your share of that, especially an angel share of it. You know, you get your fair share of that brew. We'll bring it back up to you in a nice big 22-ounce bottle. Next you guys critique it for us. And really appreciate the support.
I appreciate you coming in.
Well, I know you guys talked with my partner a little while ago here tonight about the structure. And he's super excited to come out and you guys do demos for the structure.
Yes, we do.
Understand?
Every first and third Saturday of the week, or of the month, sorry. We'll go ahead, we'll do an extract batch on the first Saturday, and on the third Saturday, we'll do an extract batch. So that's when we'll bring out the sculpture, do an adjuster, we'll take a look at 3 tier or 2 tier. We'll go ahead and show you how to use that, clean it, prep it, and go through the whole process of all day. And then we'll also work on two is really start showing how to make wine, heat, inside of
I'd like to see Yeast cider. We worked with, I think it's Ace Cider, is it Ace Cider? So they were at the Props and Hops in Palm Springs.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, and trying to come with their ciders. This whole show, I was the biggest IPA drinker ever when I watched this program, this concept. And all of a sudden, I'm ready for the next sour, ready for the next, I'm ready for the next cider. You know, those other palates that are waking up, and I'm like, oh my god.
Actually, you know, now you're already walking.
I love a good barley wine. I love a good red. You know, that's why when we built this recipe, we really built it into that 20 on the SRM. We're getting to that IPU. I just love them darker, redder, richer, multi beers. They make me happy inside.
Yummy in the tummy.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I appreciate the visit.
Oh,
and,
thank you so much for coming in today, guys.
All right,
I appreciate
see you
it.
soon. All right, welcome to Beer Culture Web Show. Today we're out here on a beautiful Saturday morning. Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent for 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning. We're up
8 o'clock in
early.
the morning,
As you
yeah.
can see by the twin kettles behind us, we're hanging out with Ralph Sargent, an award-winning home brewer, good friend of mine. We're going to be brewing our first sponsored brew today for the show.
Yeah, by More Beer, actually.
By More Beer. I got my More Beer shirt on. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Feeling
shirt,
fancy.
huh?
Thank you, sir. It's got the Brett. How do you say that word?
Botanomyces.
Thank you, sir. And that was Coachella Brewing's Monumentus on Brett, right?
Yeah, they have the monument with bread in it right now.
Love that beer.
Yeah,
Shell loves that beer. It's funky.
excellent beer.
Good and funky.
Really good.
All right. So today, as you can see, we're going to be brewing away back here. We got a couple of Sargent's friends came over, going to help us out. So we got some helping hands for lifting, pulling, and pushing. And we're going to be getting into this brew here in just a minute. We'll be stopping along the way to take shots. I think we got the GoPro going, right?
Yep. Now,
good.
do you want to tell them what kind of beer we're making?
No. Should we? Okay, we'll tell them. All right. So obviously we're going to brew an IPA because I'm a big IPA hop snob. I know that's changing some though. You know, I always find myself looking for sours and stouts now when I walk in the
told you,
store.
man, we'll broaden your horizons.
Damn it. I thought I was too old to dog learn new tricks, but I guess
Never.
not. I guess not. But today we're going to be brewing an unnamed IPA. I think it's called Hoppy is the IPA at this point.
Okay.
We're teasing with the name of maybe the Twins IPA because, you know, you got...
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to brew a full 10-gallon IPA. We're going to put it in 2 5-gallon carboys. We're going to use 2 different yeasts, 1 on each carboy. We'll be using an English dry IPA, and we'll be using a California IPA.
Yeah.
So we'll get the two sides of the pond IPA. I don't know.
I think it'll be really interesting to see how it comes
Yeah,
out.
bring them back together,
Yeah.
and we'll have a little release party, and let
Yeah.
everybody try them and see what works out.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
But we need to get the flame on. We need to get to work.
Yep.
Break a sweat. We'll be on camera here in a minute with Sarge, but for now, let's get to work. Start brewing. Shit. Yeah, oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Yeah, it does. Aw, that makes me miss my mom. I love malt oatmeal. All right, that's one.
Did drop down, Scott? 60.
That's a serious grain bed right there.
Well, that's a big bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
Go down to the bottom, Chris, and kind of stir it up because it gets lumpy.
There it is. What did it drop down to?
I like blueberries in mine.
I'll eat some of that after it's done, man. That's fucking smells so good. Good God, what have we done?
All right, so if anybody's paying attention,
Quicksand.
if we get down to 150, then we need to crank it back up.
Welcome back to Beer Culture. We're here with Ralph Sargent making an IPA today, and you want to kind of walk us through the recipe as far as what we're brewing here today, Sarge?
Yeah, we're just brewing a really hoppy IPA. Haven't really come up with a name of it yet, but using lots of hops, Citra, and it's going to come out there. We'll do some dry hopping in it and stuff. We've got two different yeast that we're using. We're using a California ale, and then we're using the English ale, and two different batches. Same recipe, just different yeast, and we'll see how it comes out, you know, as far as flavors and everything.
Now, we're brewing a single IPA, right? Not a double IPA.
That's right.
Okay. Now, what's the ABV going to be on this one? When everything's done, finished, you know, we're bottled, kegged, and ready to go.
It'll be probably around a 5.860.
Okay. That's perfect for an IPA. It's not too heavy, not too light. Kind of explain to us what we're doing here right now.
Well, we've taken our grain and we mashed it for an hour and let it just steep it, actually, like if you're doing tea and everything. And right now we're taking sparging, put like 4 gallons of water here, and it's showering on top of the bed of grain, and then it's going into the boil pot. And it's probably going to, the water's running out here now, so it's probably going to be going for another 10 minutes or so. And then that's when we'll start boiling after that point. And we're going to be boiling for at least 1 hour with our hop additions at 60 minutes. And if I remember, we got 60, 30, and 15, and 10. And then, of course, 5. So
Right.
we have 4 or 5 4 additions of hops there.
This smells amazing. It smells like malt oatmeal, like oatmeal, kind of. It's like I want to drink it now and see how it tastes.
Sorry, man, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
You've got to wait at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. So after we finish today, we put it in the primary fermentation. How long do we have to wait before we rack it to a secondary?
I usually leave it 7 days.
Okay.
And that's not beyond, absolutely. You know, depending on schedule and stuff, it could be 8, 9 days.
Okay. Now, is there any indicator that you see in the carboy that tells you it's ready, or I need to wait, or?
Just when it stops percolating.
Okay. And then so it's about 3 weeks until we're bottled and kegged and ready to drink.
I'd say 3 weeks.
Good deal.
Because we're going to end up kegging it and then we'll bottle it. So
Right.
we'll have our carbonation will be consistent all the way across the board.
Okay.
And I think that's what, I mean, people look for that.
Yeah.
More than just, you know, they say you brew and you bottle and the inconsistency is there all the time. Not always, but it's there.
Right. There's steps you can take to make sure that everything comes out the same every bottle,
Right.
every keg. Okay. Well, sounds excellent. Can't wait to try it in a couple of weeks here, and hopefully you guys get to try it too.
All right, we're at the end of an amazing beer culture episode here with Ralph Sargent and Justin and myself, Trooper. We've had some other helping hands today that we're going to give some respect to on credits for sure. But here we are in the chilling process. So charge, I'm going to say that sentence again. You can edit out that charge statement right there, okay? That's good. Awesome, cool. So Sarge, tell us what we're doing right now. Tell us exactly what we got going on.
Looks like a spaghetti factory going on.
Yeah,
there,
it is. It's
No,
quite
we
good.
got this plate chiller here that
Okay.
Trooper had picked up a couple years ago when we were brewing together all the time. And the thing chills down fantastically. I mean, it's like by the time that bucket's full, it'll be at fermenting temperature.
I'm looking at this gauge over here, Sarge, and we're looking at like 195 on this hose, and you
Yeah.
can feel it. And then you can feel this hose. We're pitching temperature. That's 68
Yeah,
degrees
that's-
easy.
That's
Yeah.
really cold.
You know, we used to
Yeah.
be loving it, right?
Now, this is the best tool as far as brewing goes. I
Yeah.
did the coil before, and that was always a hassle. It took so long to really get down to a temperature that you could drink, or not drink, but pitch your yeast and
Yeah,
everything.
pitching temperature for
And
sure.
when come across that was a tool to have.
You know, we've been trying the wort at every stage. We've been taking little sips, and those last couple of stages, those last couple of pitches, just really woke this IPA up. I mean, the hop profile in the wort that we're getting ready to feed that yeast is amazing. It's delicious. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's been a great brew, injure-free, and you know, we've been
No
drinking
episodes.
since 10. Yeah, no episodes, and we've been drinking since 10, and we're all in still pretty good shape. So, and we're coming up on the 1 o'clock hour. Cheers, you
Cheers.
guys. Justin, tell us what we're drinking right now.
This is Imperial Compass from Southern Tier. It's an Imperial Pale Ale with rose hips and citrusy hops, and that's pretty much it. I think 9% alcohol.
For a pale ale, that's
Very good
serious
beer.
business.
Very
Yeah,
good
really
yeah.
delicious. We've done a couple of Southern Tiers on episodes before. Where they at?
Actually, we haven't yet. We haven't done any Southern Tier yet.
Sure.
Yeah, we did one, but it was off camera.
It was off camera. All
Yeah.
right.
But
Where they
no,
from?
we'll be doing something very soon.
Yeah. Where they
Have some
from?
more. Lakewood, New York.
Lakewood, New York. Another out of state, right?
Yes, sir.
Cannot get it here in our beautiful part of Southern California.
Hopefully that'll be changing pretty soon, but as of right now, we
hope
can't get
so.
it here.
All
How's
right.
that bucket feel down there at the bottom? Where the
Oh, it's nice and cold.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah, there's a substantial temperature difference between
Yeah,
these
it's
two.
crazy.
Yeah.
Most amazing plate, most amazing brew tool ever. Like every home brewer should have a plate chiller. It's,
Yeah.
it's a phenomenal investment, a proper investment. You always see the guys running the hose down the driveway, and the water's just running down the driveway forever. We're using half as much water to chill as anybody else would be. Just using some ice, a little bit of water, and just letting it recirculate.
20 pounds of ice, a couple blocks if you need to in the summertime. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna get this stuff in the carboys, and we're gonna get it pitched. We're gonna get it down in that freezer and get it fermenting. And here we are on Beer Culture Webshow with final results from the twin. We ended up calling it like a twin IPA or double fisted. The two fisted.
Yeah.
Two-fisted.
Here we are on Beer Culture Webshow with the final results of the two fisted pale ale. And I believe on the left side we have number 1, and on the right side we have number 7. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Let's start with number 7. That's a respectable beer, gentlemen. And we made it.
This is the English ale.
The Citra in this one really comes through stronger.
Now we need to talk about the hops that we used in all this too.
Very good.
We only used 2 hops. We used Citra and Chinook, right?
Correct. Equal
And,
amounts, equal moments all the way through.
Dry hopping the same way all the way through.
We did a 10-gallon batch. Split it off into 2 5-gallon batches, and then did the Cali Ale yeast from White Labs in one, and the 007 English yeast in the other one.
Correct.
And that's where the 7 and the 1. That's what we're talking about here. So.
Now, I think the thing that I found the most interesting was when Sarge informed me that 001 actually gave us 1 point lower in final gravity. It actually took out more sugar, brought itself down a little further, which gave you 1 point higher in your ABV. So that's interesting that one was that much more of a consumable yeast.
Right.
Am I saying that right?
Now, what did the ABV end up being on these?
Well, I think we had some battles in the brewing process.
Yeah, we had some battles going
Right.
on. We were trying to do the mash and everything.
But
Trying to keep that temperature consistent. So it ended up being a lower ABV than what we anticipated. We wanted
It's almost like a session IPA.
Yeah, they're very sessional, and that's great. You know, that one is. I think we ended up going to like a 5, one a 5.5 or something like that.
Yeah, it was real close to the 5.
Number 1. If you guys ready to give that a shot? You know, to me, like the Citra is stronger in this one, and the Chinook is stronger in this one.
Definitely give it a little more like a spicy kind of
Pine,
yeah.
a resin back
in
note.
Number 1, definitely.
Like the floral's still there, but just gives you that piney coat inside the mouth.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know that I like one more than the other. I think they're both just
No,
excellent.
right now I don't. Yeah, I think they're both excellent. Sarge, you're the award-winning home brewer. How are you feeling about the results?
Both of them are very good beers. I would say
Yeah.
that for an experiment, this, we're doing the same hop, same grain bill all the way through, same process, using different yeast. I mean, it's a learning experience because then you really see what different types of yeast, how that affects their
Right.
taste and the flavor and aroma and just the whole thing,
It's so crazy how you can change like a yeast or double yeast or change a hop or double a hop, and it just changes that beer so much, you know.
Yeah.
And I've said it before. I mean, each part's got a story to tell. Just let them tell it. You don't need to add blueberries and all these other things to a beer. There's so much you can do with just the basics, you know.
One thing I did learn out of this the process is doing a yeast starter. And that's something we didn't do because we were kind of cramped for time and everything.
Yeah,
Just kind of scheduling everything. We just went ahead and pitched the yeast. The outcome was really good. Can't complain about that at all. But I think if we'd done a yeast starter, we might have gotten that ABV up there a little higher.
A little higher. So you were saying with starters.
Yeah, the starters had something that, over a few years I've been brewing and stuff, at first, I just pitched the yeast and just let it go, and then started doing some studying on it and decided, okay, I'm going to start making starters. And I find that the final results are much better. Very clean beer as far as an ABV and everything, and just the flavors and the aromas and everything. And this is something we didn't do with this beer.
It just gives you a much stronger fermentation, much more active fermentation.
Right. Though I think, if next time we do something like this, we're going to definitely we'll make it an effort to do a starter to
Sweet.
get it done right.
Now, how did we do? We do all right for rookies?
Wait a minute, I'm the professional here.
Yeah, no, us too. We did all right
You
as
guys did
rookies.
good. And there was everybody was learning that day. I mean,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
myself that day, we were trying to do the mash in the 15-gallon twin, and I
the
usually
twins.
use an igloo cooler for that, and just the temperature was not consistent there. So, like I said earlier, though,
But that was a big grain bill. You couldn't have got that grain biil in a cooler. That was like 26
no, there was no way it was
pounds.
going to fit.
No
there.
way.
No way.
That was a monster. That was delicious oatmeal. That's awesome.
That was
Now,
a beast.
Something I talked to another home brewer, Eric Turner. They had done an agave beer, and they didn't get any good carb because they bottle condition everything. They don't have a kegging system. And they use a cryogenic process. And they tried to do a whole batch, 52 bottles with an agave, and they did not get a good carbonation. So they went back and they uncapped, 30 bottles, and they did a process. Like these bottles got 4 granules, these bottles got 6 granules, these bottles got 8 granules. So each bottle got so many individual granules of dry yeast. And all the bottles that got 6 granules had perfect carbonation. Like this really vibrant carbonation.
This is after they already pitched
It's all
the
done.
yeast and
Yeah,
bottled.
bottled,
and
conditioned, ready to go. So I've set aside 4 bottles, 2 of each, and I'm gonna uncap them and I'm gonna put like 5 granules in each one and recap them. I'm gonna let them sit for like 2 weeks. I'm gonna bring them over and sit with you guys and see how they come out.
Are you going to use the same yeast that we use for these, or are you going to
No,
use
it's just
different yeast?
it's a dry yeast, so it's a completely different yeast. But it's a good neutral yeast. I just have a pack of a good basic neutral yeast that I always had for emergency situations. You know me, I was
You
know,
never know
those
when you're going to
guys.
need yeast.
You never know, man. You never know when you need to pitch something real quick, fire some shit back up. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to recap them, and I'm going to let them go for a week, and I'm going to bring them over and see what they're like. Because it will kick off different esters. It will kick off different flavors. Every fermentation, even as minor as it is, brings some other new flavor to the surface. So
That's
it's a great
something we didn't
experience.
do with this batch here, these 2 batches that is. We kegged them both, and gave the carbonation, and did it that way. I prefer doing keg and carbonate. That's my favorite.
Me too.
It's
I
always,
agree.
your beers are always consistent across
Very consistent, and you never end up with any funkiness from bottle to bottle. But you know, those guys do a Kreisening, and they've been pretty successful with that. It might be something we have to get on the show. Sit down with those cats and see what they're doing. For guys that only brew 4 times a year, they've pulled off some pretty respectable beers.
When I tried the beers,
Yeah, Eric Turner can pull off some pretty respectable beers. But I'm really happy with this. I appreciate
These are
both excellent. They're really good, Sarge, and I really appreciate you doing it with us and giving us your fermentation space and your time and your knowledge and taking us through a beer. I think we need to do it again. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Let's brew it up. For all you folks out there that ever want to learn anything about home brewing, there's a link on this episode. And you connect right to Sarge on Facebook, ask him any questions you got, and he'll answer them for you. And if you want to learn something about brewing, he's there. He only charges beer. He'll work for beer, so he only works for good beer. And for you guys that more beer, we super appreciate the support. We're going to be doing more with you guys. Don't you worry. We got some other things in the works you guys are going to be sponsoring with us on. And thanks to all the sponsors that help us. And thanks for everybody watching. We're going to see you again, another episode, Beer Culture Web Show. Cheers.